Hey guys, thanks for joining us here at Salty Ginger Talk. If you're a returning listener, it's great to have you back. If you're new to the channel, really glad you joined us. Hope you like what you hear. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about how to train your nervous system so you can control your thoughts, control your emotions, and stop living in chaos. So terribly important. We absolutely can control our nervous system. We're going to give you 5 ways that you can do that. We're going to give you 5 examples of what it looks like when you're not in control of your nervous system. And we're going to give you 5 tips, one for each reason, on how to control your central nervous system that you can start right now to start taking control of how you react to situations in your life. So it's super important to consciously regulate your nervous system, especially when things around you are stressful. So in order to do that, I think we got to understand a little bit what our nervous system is and how it works. Now, caveat here, I'm not a doctor. I didn't stay at Holiday Inn Express last night. I have 0 medical training. However, I also have been in a lot of stressful situations and have learned to control my central nervous system in those stressful situations, and I'm fairly successful at it. So I have 50 plus years of history of being able to do this in my life, much more effectively sometimes than others. I'm not perfect in any way, shape, or form. You guys have heard me say before, I don't throw stones because I live in a glass house. So I have my challenges just like anyone else does, but I'm better at it than most people most of the time. So we're going to cover it today in detail and give you ways that you can do it to help change your life. So let's just jump into it. So when we talk about your nervous system, overall, we're talking about your autonomic nervous system. And your autonomic nervous system controls the functions inside your body: your heart rate, your digestion, your breathing, your blood pressure. Now, that autonomic nervous system is divided into 2 separate basic branches. One of those is the sympathetic nervous system, and one of those is the parasympathetic nervous system. And we're going to talk about what those are and what they do before we get into the tips on how to learn to control it. So, first up is the sympathetic nervous system. This is fight or flight. This is the system that kicks in when you feel stress, when you sense danger, when you perceive a threat, or when you're under high stimulation. It's your body's emergency response system. It's fast, it's intense, and it's focused on your survival. It's focused on keeping you safe. So it kicks in highly stressful or what you perceive to be dangerous or threatening situations. What does it do in those situations? It increases your heart rate. It elevates your blood pressure. It releases adrenaline and cortisol so that you're more aware and more ready to react. It dilates your pupils so that you let more light into your eyes and you can see things more clearly. It inhibits your digestion and your reproduction. It's hard to get real turned on when you're in a fight for your life. It regulates those non-essential functions like digesting food and reproducing so that that blood can be directed to other areas of your body to deal with the perceived threat. And that's what it does. It redirects the blood, the oxygen, the energy to those other areas of your body. What triggers your sympathetic nervous system to kick in and take over? Stressful conversations can do it. Deadlines can do it. Arguments can do it. Fear or a perceived threat can do it. An intense workout can do it. Even constant notifications from your phone, from your email, doom scrolling on social media, all of those things can activate your sympathetic nervous system because your body perceives a threat. Maybe you hear an opinion you don't like. Maybe you hear something you strongly disagree with. It gets your blood pressure up. It gets your heart rate up. It makes you flush. You feel a rush of energy. That's your sympathetic nervous system kicking in. Here's an example. You get cut off in traffic. Your heart races, your muscles tense up, you feel ready to yell or swerve. That is your sympathetic nervous system firing up to deal with what you perceive as a threat. That's what it does. Okay, now let's switch over to the parasympathetic nervous system. This is more, instead of fight or flight, think of this one as rest and digest. This system calms your body down after the threat has passed. It's responsible for healing, for helping you restore, and for conserving energy. What does it do when it kicks in? It slows your heart rate down. It lowers your blood pressure. It stimulates digestion. It promotes relaxation. It supports immune function so you can heal your body and helps your overall long-term health. What are some things that trigger your parasympathetic nervous system to kick in? Deep, slow breathing. That's one. Calm environments, meditation or prayer, gentle movements like walking or yoga, hiking, safe physical touch or connection. Okay. Now, let's think of an example where our parasympathetic nervous system would kick in. Picture yourself sitting on your front porch after dinner. You're watching the sunset. Your breathing is slow and measured. Your stomach is digesting your food and your muscles are loose and relaxed. That's your parasympathetic nervous system being activated. That's what's happening. So the challenge we have here is in our modern life, it tends to keep us, if we allow it, it tends to keep us stuck in sympathetic overdrive, where our parasympathetic nervous system rarely has the chance to take over and do what it does. There's all sorts of contributors to the sympathetic nervous system ruling the day. Stress, caffeine, screens, phones, computers, tablets, hustle culture. The result of living this intensely all the time is many times burnout, anxiety, fatigue, poor digestion, and poor sleep. That does not sound like a combination for living a healthy and productive life, does it? But we can learn to intentionally activate our parasympathetic nervous system. We can learn to do it on purpose. We're going to give you tools like breathwork, like cold exposure, like grounding, like sleep. And that's going to give you back control of how you react to situations. It's going to allow your parasympathetic nervous system to take over more often and do what it does so that you can perform when it's necessary and you can recover when it counts. You want to intentionally allow your sympathetic nervous system to take over when it's necessary. But there's many times we allow it to take over when it's not necessary. And that leads us to all of those things we talked about: burnout, stress, fatigue, anxiety. Those aren't things we want in our life. And we can learn to control those things using some of these tools we're going to talk about here right now. So, number one, master your breath to master your state. Slow, controlled breathing, like box breathing. We've talked about box breathing on the channel before. In for 4 counts, hold your breath for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts, hold that for 4 counts before you inhale again. That's a great one. I like cleansing, what I call cleansing breaths, is a deep breath in, hold it, blow it out, hold it. That activates the parasympathetic nervous system. It reduces your heart rate, reduces your cortisol levels, and allows the rational part of your brain to kick in. That's not me thinking it. We got this from a study in Frontiers in Psychology that was published in 2018. So this is medical professionals telling you that breathing can help you stifle your sympathetic nervous system and engage your parasympathetic nervous system. What would it look like when your sympathetic nervous system is taking over and you can't control it, or you're not controlling it? You get stressed and your breathing becomes shallow and fast. You react impulsively, or you escalate emotionally. Those happen when you allow your sympathetic nervous system to rule the day. We want to engage our parasympathetic nervous system in most of those situations so that we can stay in control, we can control our breathing, we can control our emotional reactions, and we can have more productive and useful conversations. So, when you feel that surge coming on, just pause, stop, focus on controlling your breathing. Calm your body down before you react. Use the breathing techniques we talked about. Do box breathing. Do a cleansing breath or 2 or 10, whatever it takes. We do it a lot. So your action step on this is to practice breathing today. Practice box breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds. Let's just do it real quick, okay? There it is. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold it for 4 counts. Exhale for 4 counts. Hold that for 4 counts. Do it 5 times in a row. Do it 3 times in a row. Hell, do it once. Even once is better than not doing it at all. But if you can do that, the next time you feel tension rising, you're in a meeting where you're getting stressful information, or you're in traffic and somebody cuts you off, whatever the situation is, practice that breathing technique and allow your parasympathetic nervous system to re-engage. Breathing will help you reset. It works like a charm. It's not a guess, scientifically backed, proven to work. Okay, number 2, use cold exposure to build stress tolerance. You know you're going to be in stressful situations. Why not practice being in stressful situations? If you're going to give a presentation, you write it out and practice it before you give it. If you're going to ask someone out on a date, you practice the conversation or how you're going to approach it before you do it. If you have to have a difficult conversation at work or you're negotiating something, you practice those things before you do it. Why not practice stressful situations? And cold exposure is a great way to do that. Brief cold exposure activates the vagus nerve in your body. It runs up your neck to your brain. It boosts norepinephrine and trains your central nervous systems to stay calm in controlled stress. That comes from the European Journal of Applied Physiology in 2016. So it's not us making it up. It's not conjecture. These are medical professionals that have done studies and tests and are giving you the results of what they have shown works. Using cold exposure to put yourself in controlled but stressful situations helps train you to be in those situations when they pop into your life. So if we don't want to do that, what's poor behavior? How do we engage in poor behavior around this? We avoid discomfort. We prioritize comfort over everything else. That is not good for you. You need to learn to be uncomfortable. You need to learn to struggle a little bit. Hot showers, climate control, easy routines. That's going to ensure that you're fragile under pressure. It's going to ensure that you're not tested for when the bullets start flying. Instead, what we could do is incorporate a small dose or small doses of healthy stress to build your tolerance and increase your mental resilience. Intentionally make things harder for yourself. If you do that, you're practicing being good in stressful situations under low risk. Don't wait until it counts. When it counts, if you have practice to fall back on because you've made stressful situations in controlled environments and you've learned how to react to those, you're going to be in a much better spot. So next time you take a shower, take the last 30 seconds of the shower and flip the water all the way over to cold and brace yourself. Breathe calmly through it. Do it again tomorrow. Start building stress resilience on purpose so that when those tough times come, you've got these practice sessions to fall back on, okay? Cold exposure is a great way to do that. Number 3, here's our next tip. Ground yourself through your senses. Grounding techniques. What are grounding techniques? Sensory awareness and body scanning. We'll talk more about this. Those reduce the activity in your amygdala. That improves your emotional regulation and attention. Again, not us. This is from the Journal of Clinical Psychology, a study published in 2020. So it improves, let's say that again. Grounding techniques like sensory awareness and body scanning reduce activity in the amygdala, improves your emotional regulation and attention. Okay? So what does this look like when we don't practice using our senses to ground ourselves? We spiral into anxiety. We get lost in thought. We get disconnected from our body. What does it look like when we do use our senses to ground ourselves? We're able to pull ourselves back into ourselves through our senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What can you touch? What do you smell? What do you taste right now? So how do we do this? How do we practice using our senses to reground ourselves and get back in control of our nervous system? Try the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique. Name 5 things that you pick a sense. Usually sight is the easiest one to do 5 things on. Pick 5 things you see. What are 4 things you can physically feel? Your skin, this desk, my microphone, the computer, right? Those are things I can touch. Name 4 things that you feel. 3 things that you hear. Right now, I can hear there's a truck that's running outside. I can hear the air conditioning going on. I can hear my voice. Those are 3 things I can hear right now. What are 2 things you smell? Find 2 things you smell. Pick 2 things that you can sense with your sense of smell and 1 thing you can taste. Maybe it's just your saliva. But do that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique and use that to reground yourself on what is my current situation. All right? Sensory awareness and body scanning. Body scanning is simply start thinking about, what do I feel at the top of my head? What do my eyes feel like right now? What are my ears hearing? What do my lips feel like right now? What does my tongue feel like right now? Is my throat dry or is it moist? Is my heart beating fast or slow? Is my breathing quick or is it shallow? How is it happening right now? How do my hands feel? How do my joints feel? Are my muscles tense? Right? Those are all things that you can do right now. Just scan your body and take like a mental inventory of what is happening to you and with you right now. That will reground you. That will allow your parasympathetic nervous system to kick back in, and it will stop your sympathetic nervous system from running your life. And you don't want your sympathetic nervous system running your life all the time. Remember, that's fight or flight. We don't want to live in that state of constant arousal all the time. It's not good for us. Okay, number 4, prioritize deep sleep to reset your system. I cannot stress enough how important sleep on a regular basis, deep sleep on a regular basis is. Sleep is when your central nervous system resets and repairs itself. Poor sleep increases your sympathetic activity and reduces emotional regulation or parasympathetic activity. Again, we're not guessing about this. That's from a study published by the National Institutes of Health in 2019. So sleep is when your system resets and repairs. And if you don't get deep sleep on a regular basis, your system does not reset and repair. It wears down. It creates more opportunity for your sympathetic or fight or flight part of your nervous system to control your thoughts and emotions instead of your parasympathetic, which is where we want to be more often than not. Okay? So, what are some things that prevent us from sleeping? Scrolling through our phones or being on our computer at midnight. Inconsistent sleep, sleeping in a room that's not cold enough, sleeping in a room that doesn't have the right darkness in it, that's too much light. And then you wake up groggy and irritable and unrested. Instead, we've got to treat sleep like it's super important. We got to treat it like it's breathing. We got to treat it like it's food. We want to wind down intentionally. We want to have a routine that allows us to wind down and get ready to go to sleep, not to bed, to sleep. So you got to protect your sleep window. When is it you sleep? And that time is sacred. That time is when you are recovering and you're allowing your body to heal itself. Then we're going to wake up focused. Then we're going to wake up with energy. Then we're going to wake up ready to take on another day. So the action step on this one is start a wind down alarm tonight. Whatever time it is you go to bed. Doesn't matter if it's 10, if it's 9, if it's 11, whatever it is. 60 minutes before that, start preparing to go to bed. Turn off all your screens. Don't look at your phone. Turn off your television. Shut down your computer. Dim your lights. Stretch. Write in your journal. Read or write to calm your system down. That's cueing your body that, hey, sleep is coming. We're going to wind down and be ready to go to sleep when it's time for us to go to sleep so that we can repair ourselves and be ready for the next day. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 5, move every day. That helps discharge stress hormones. So moderate daily movement reduces adrenaline and cortisol. It increases endorphins and improves vagal tone. That's your vagus nerve that goes up to your brain and helps decide whether you're going to be agitated and on edge or if you're going to be calm and relaxed. And when we move, it gets rid of the hormones that force us into a state of agitation, like adrenaline, like cortisol. And it increases the hormones that help us relax and feel good, like endorphins. And it stimulates our vagus nerve so that we can feel better, we can calm down, we can control our emotions, and we can be in a good mental state. All right? Again, not me guessing. That's from Harvard Health Publishing in 2021. So these are real doctors, real scientists, real studies, empirical evidence to tell you that this is the way to go. So what does it look like when we don't move every day and allow our sympathetic nervous system to run our life? We stay sedentary. We let stress and these hormones accumulate in our body. We feel stuck in fight or flight, always a state of agitation, always a state of angst, always a state of anxiety. That's not where we want to be. A better way to be would be to move, go for a walk, stretch, lift weights, go for a run, ride a bike, play golf, take a hike, work in your garden. There's lots of things you can do. The key is to get up and move your body so that it will flush out the stress hormones and release the calming hormones like the endorphins. That's got to be a daily activity so that you can process emotion and regulate your nervous system. So the action step here is real simple. Take a 10-minute walk. at the top of every hour. Set your watch and say, you know what, I'm going to go for a 10-minute walk at the top of every hour. If you do that at the top of every hour, that's 80 minutes of walking in an 8-hour day. 80 minutes of walking. Let's say that you walk a 20-minute mile, right? That's 4 miles of walking. That's 8,000 steps. If you just do that, it'll make a huge difference in your life. If you just do that. It's important on the walk. We're not scrolling our phone. We're not listening to things and on earbuds. We're not getting any other stimulation. No phone, no stimulation. It's just you. Focus on your breathing. Focus on your movement. Focus on how your body feels. It is magic. I'm telling you, if you do that, it will help flush those bad hormones out and bring those good hormones in, allow you to engage your parasympathetic nervous system, and you will feel magical after it's done. I'm telling you. Okay, so the key takeaway here, guys, is our nervous system is trainable. We can train it to behave the way we want it to. We are not a slave to our nervous system. We want the sympathetic nervous system to do the things that are necessary, like keep our heart beating, make sure we take breath on a regular basis, digest our food so that we've got energy. We want it to do those things, but we don't want it to run our life. We don't want it to keep us in a constant state of agitation, a constant state of fight or flight, a constant state of awareness. We need downtime. We need to relax. We need to allow our parasympathetic nervous system to kick in and help us calm down and help us think rationally. So we can train our nervous system to do that. Remember, our nervous system is responding to how we choose to live our life. Regulating that system is your responsibility. And it's also a weapon. If you can learn to regulate that and you can learn to stay calm in stressful situations, you're going to be light years ahead of the people that you're competing with for jobs, for relationships, for anything in life. And it's just going to make you feel better about yourself, which is the most important thing. It's going to greatly increase your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health. It's where we all want to be. It's totally within our control. We just gave you 5 tips on how to do it. Make sure you take those tips and incorporate them into your life today. And if this is helpful to you, send it to somebody else who could use it. We all know we could use it sometimes. It's good for me to do this episode because it reminds me of some things I need to work on as well. So again, glass houses, don't throw stones. We all need to work on this. These are great tips. Hope you found them useful. So James puts it up over here every day. Head over to our website, saltygingertalk.com. All the podcast episodes are available there. Links to social media accounts are available there. We publish a newsletter every weekday you can subscribe to there. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe to the podcast, whatever platform you consume it on. It's very helpful for us. If you're able to do that, we're going to keep giving you tips like this. We're going to keep finding great guests who talk about what they've done with the challenges in their life and turn those into super productive and super meaningful life and the lessons they've learned from those. You don't want to miss any of that stuff. It's great stuff to help you build the life that you want. Make sure you check out our next episode. We'll see you there.